EWTN, sharing the splendor of truth.
Real gullible. Don't do that. We have a call. Hello?
Hi, Mother.
Where are you from?
Des Moines, Iowa.
And what is your question?
Well, I just have a couple suggestions. We had a faith-sharing group of 7 women from our local church here last night, and a couple of the things that we suggested doing for Lent. This coming Sunday is our local food pantry Sunday, and we decided to take food items to church with us that are given to the poor.
That's good.
And another thing, I recently from our diocesan archivist obtained the birthday list of our retired priests here in the diocese.
Good.
And to remember, those old fellas, they're lonely.
Yeah.
Like, you and I may be someday. None of us ever know.
That's right.
And one comment I have about the sacramentals with the holy water.
That's
what
right.
do you do when your parish takes the holy water out, telling you that that's one of the things they're giving up for Lent?
Whoa. I can't imagine letting the devil in for Lent. Because holy water is one of the most powerful tools against evil. And you just have to wonder about this kind of thought, they're going to take the holy water. Why do you deprive yourself of God? I know a person, you will not, but yeah, you will believe it. I know you will. I know you'll believe it. She said she's going to give up Holy Communion for Lent. That's, what are you thinking of? Go to confession and go to communion for Lent. We're living in a terrible age right now. If you don't know that, then you're not reading the newspaper. We're living in an age now that has unbelievable sin and unbelievable things happening. And so we need to pray. That's what I want you. Go eat a box of candy, for goodness sakes. Why do we always think of our stomach when we think of Lent? It isn't your stomach that's bad, it's your soul that's bad. That's what's in bad shape, is your soul, not your stomach. Forget your stomach. Do really beautiful, prayerful things for Lent. In no age have we ever needed prayer and penance. I'm not against penance. But it's a penance for some of you to pray. It's a penance to give up your sinful life. It's a penance to act like a Catholic. Defend your faith. That's a nice penance. Lord, do you get it when you defend your faith? You can be scrupulous about mortification, and you go to the table to, there's a piece of pie, but God's going to hate me. Go eat it, for goodness sakes. But be sweet to your neighbor. We treat God so miserable sometimes. Well, we do now all the time. There was a little boy about 8 years old, and he hated prunes. I sympathize with him. So his mother had some prunes on his plate, and he refused to eat them. And this is what a lot of people have done, and please don't do this. She threatened him with God. And she said to him, if you don't eat those prunes, God is going to be very angry with you. Well, he didn't care, because he wouldn't eat the prunes. So she said, okay, God is very angry with you. Go to bed. So he went to bed. During the night, there was a terrible electrical storm. She was afraid that he was scared. So she walked in his bedroom real quiet, and he was out, had the curtain drawn, and looking out at the storm, and he said, all that fuss over 2 prunes. You see, that's how some of us treat God. We threaten our kids with God. God is a loving God, but he also has justice. And don't you forget that. You have the justice of God is just as wonderful and beautiful. Even if he has to knock us on the head, it's better to be knocked on the head and get to heaven than to go your merry way and go to hell. And you can't say God is an unloving God and does not punish. He does. He has to. You do that with your children. And so for Lent, don't threaten your children with God. You have to tell them the truth. That's another thing you can do for Lent. Tell your children the truth. They want to know the truth. Tell them about the sacraments. Tell them about the Eucharist. Be a total Catholic for Lent. It might be a big change in your house. More change than not eating candy. We have another call. Hello?
Hello, Mother. I'm calling from New Mexico.
What is your question?
Okay. Mortification we did for Lent 4 years ago and continue to do is we gave up television.
Wonderful. Except EWTN.
That's right. And anyways, the cleansing it provided to our senses and the growth in purity that by the time Lent was over, when we turned the television back on, we were so offended by it,
right,
we could not watch it.
That's right. I think that's an excellent idea because you began to see the difference. You see, our soul can be very calloused to sin. So callous that you don't see it anymore. For example, they were callous to violence. Aren't we callous to violence? Okay? And we can be desensitized to sin. See, it doesn't. That's one of the greatest problems, I think, in America. Maybe other nations, too. We're desensitized to sin. We're desensitized to violence. We're desensitized to sex. We're desensitized to drugs and alcohol. And we're desensitized to heresy. We're desensitized to error. We're desensitized to apostasy. We're desensitized to anything that goes on today. And that's the worst kind of evil.